On the map, Greenland is a striking anomaly, an immense ice-shrouded island in North America, yet politically tied to distant Denmark. This connection, centuries in the making, is rooted in Viking exploration, colonial ambition, and the resilience of Greenland's indigenous peoples. Why is Greenland Danish? The answer shapes the lives, economy, and identity of over 56,000 people today. To understand, we must journey back to the age of Norse settlers and Inuit hunters through eras of disappearance, rediscovery, and shifting global politics. The relationship between Copenhagen and Nuuk is a legacy of a shared, often difficult past, one that continues to evolve as Greenland's strategic importance grows. As Arctic ice melts and new opportunities emerge, the future of this bond, continued partnership or full independence, remains one of the great questions of our time. The story of Greenland and Denmark is ultimately about what it means to be a nation in a changing world. Greenland, or Kalalit Nunaat, is the world's largest island, yet home to just 56,000 people. The vast Greenland ice sheet covers most of the land, confining settlements to a narrow, ice-free coastal fringe. Life here is shaped by the sea, fishing, hunting, and a deep connection to the Arctic environment. The people are primarily Inuit, descendants of skilled Arctic hunters who migrated from North America over 1,000 years ago. Today, Greenlandic and Danish cultures blend, with Greenlandic as the official language and Danish widely spoken, a legacy of colonial ties. Communities are isolated, often accessible only by boat or plane, reinforcing both local identity and a shared sense of being Greenlandic. The capital, Nuuk, is home to about 19,000, while the rest live in scattered coastal settlements. This isolation has fostered resilience and a unique national consciousness distinct from Denmark. Before Europeans arrived, Greenland was home to waves of indigenous peoples, culminating in the Inuit Thule culture around the 10th century. The Thule mastered Arctic survival with tools like the dog sled and kayak, thriving along the coasts for centuries. In 982, Norse explorer Eric the Red established settlements, lured by Greenland's misleadingly green name. For nearly 500 years, Norse farmers clung to the land, building churches and trading with Europe, but struggled to adapt to the harsh environment. By the 15th century, the Norse mysteriously vanished, likely due to climate change, resource decline, and isolation. Theories abound, but when Europeans returned centuries later, only Inuit communities remained. The Norse left behind ruins and unanswered questions, while Inuit culture endured, forming the foundation of modern Greenlandic identity. This layered history set the stage for future European claims. After the Norse vanished, Greenland faded from European memory until the 18th century. Norwegian missionary Hans Egede, seeking lost Norse Christians, arrived in 1721 and instead found the Inuit. Egede's mission marked the start of continuous European presence and Danish colonial ambitions. The Royal Greenland Trading Company soon monopolized trade, isolating Greenland and exploiting its resources for Denmark. Colonization was both economic and religious, aiming to civilize and Christianize the Inuit. In 1814, the Treaty of Kiel dissolved the Danish-Norwegian Union, but Denmark retained Greenland, Iceland, and the Faroe Islands. This geopolitical twist cemented Greenland as a Danish dependency, a legacy that endures. The stage was set for 2 centuries of Danish rule. The 19th and early 20th centuries saw Denmark tighten its colonial grip, isolating Greenland and controlling trade through the Royal Greenland Trading Company. Danish elites held power, while Greenlanders remained hunters and fishermen with limited education and opportunity. World War II changed everything. Denmark was occupied and Greenland turned to the US for protection, exposing Greenlanders to new ideas and self-reliance. After the war, colonialism was no longer tenable. In 1953, Greenland became a county of Denmark, ending formal colonial status. This integration brought modernization, but also a push for Danicization and central control from Copenhagen. The seeds of Greenlandic political awakening were sown as people began to demand a greater say in their own future. The era of colonial rule was over, but the struggle for self-determination was just beginning. Greenland's path toward autonomy had begun. Post-1953, Denmark invested heavily in Greenland's modernization, housing, schools and healthcare, but often imposed changes from above. The G50 policy centralized populations and disrupted traditional life, fueling a Greenlandic political awakening. By the 1970s, calls for autonomy grew. In 1979, the Home Rule Act granted Greenland its own parliament and government, controlling internal affairs. Greenland left the European Economic Community in 1985, asserting its distinct interests. Over time, demands for more autonomy intensified, leading to the 2009 Self-Government Act. This act recognized Greenlanders as a distinct people, made Greenlandic the sole official language, and gave control over police, courts and natural resources. Denmark retained responsibility for foreign policy, defense and a crucial annual block grant. The journey from colony to self-government was transformative, but the question of full independence remained. Greenland now had the tools to shape its own destiny. Despite Greenland's autonomy, Denmark's interest remained strong, driven by strategy, resources and history. Greenland's Arctic location gives Denmark global influence, especially as melting ice opens new shipping routes and resource frontiers. The island's untapped minerals and potential oil reserves are economically significant, promising future wealth for the Danish realm. Greenland's presence allows Denmark to maintain its status as an Arctic nation and a community of the realm. National pride and historical identity are deeply tied to Greenland, making the idea of separation emotionally charged. Denmark also feels a responsibility, providing a block grant that supports Greenland's economy and public services. This financial support is both a legacy of colonialism and a commitment to stability. The relationship is complex, balancing strategic interests, economic ties, and a sense of duty. For Denmark, Greenland is more than territory. It's a vital part of its past, present, and future. Greenlandic identity is stronger than ever, rooted in Inuit culture, language, and a deep connection to the land. Many dream of full independence, but economic realities pose major challenges. Greenland relies on fishing and the Danish block grant, which makes up a quarter of its GDP. Achieving self-sufficiency would require new revenue from mining or tourism. Uncertain prospects for now. The independence debate is pragmatic. Some push for swift sovereignty, others urge caution until economic foundations are secure. Social challenges, unemployment, housing shortages, and the legacy of rapid modernization must also be addressed. Building a stable, independent nation requires more than resources. It needs a strong, healthy, and educated population. For now, Greenland is a nation in waiting, asserting its identity while weighing the risks and rewards of independence. The future remains open, shaped by both hope and hard realities. Today, Greenland and Denmark share a unique, evolving partnership rooted in history, but defined by Greenland's right to self-determination. The Self-Government Act gives Greenland the legal path to independence should its people choose it. The decision will hinge on economic fortunes. If resource wealth materializes, calls for sovereignty will grow louder. If not, the pragmatic benefits of the current arrangement may prevail, prolonging the partnership. The world watches as Greenland's choices will shape Arctic politics and the very idea of nationhood. The story of Greenland and Denmark is still being written in Nuuk's parliament, in fishing boats, and in the hearts of its people. Whether as a sovereign state or a partner in the Danish realm, Greenland's journey is a profound saga of a small nation navigating its destiny. The future is Greenland's to decide.